Welcome to the Humans of Western podcast. My name is William, and along with Gregory, we will be your co-hosts for today. We are joined by Elvy, a second-year resident Soph at Bayton, and a water polo enthusiast. How are you, Elvy?
I'm pretty good. Enjoying my day so far. Super excited for the interview.
Excellent. How was your winter break?
Oh, it was really good. I definitely like needed a break from everything. Needed like some time to like get away physically, like and mentally. And it's always nice like seeing friends and family, obviously. But yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's something I think definitely that we're encouraged to recommend to our students as well, our first year
Hmm.
students, because for them the pressure's a lot, right? They're just coming into this for the first time. A lot of them are far from home. Uh, it's really important to have time for self care for them.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best ways to kind of like rejuvenate and get that energy back is just by like just getting away from everything for a little bit. You'd be like surprised how quickly like all that energy that you felt like was completely gone, like just rushes right back into you and you're ready for the next semester.
Yep, for sure. I mean, my students just went out for sushi the other day, so I'm guessing they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that actually reminds me. So the other day, I was actually notified that the Soph applications opened up. After meeting you this year and seeing the Soph culture, I'm actually planning to become a Soph myself. So would you be interested in sharing what inspired you to become a resident Soph and what your role entails?
Um, yeah, so like I'd say the the most surefire way of becoming a soph is to actually like be passionate about being a soph. A lot of people look at it as just like a resume thing and they're like, oh, I can put it on this and apply to these things with it. If that's your goal, I don't think sophing's for you. It's not there's a lot like easier stuff out there to pad your resume. Um, if like your goal is the experience that Softening offers, which is like a really strong community, an opportunity for leadership, an opportunity for mentorship, and just like an opportunity for mentorship on both sides. You get to meet a lot of really, really smart people who are like at the top of their game, and you get to help people who are just coming in, kind of get their footing. And if all that like sounds appealing to you, then definitely apply. Um, Applications are out, obviously you still have some time, but like don't sleep on it, start working on it, get ready for your interview. And if you do all that, you'll have fun with it and you'll hopefully get it.
Yeah, for
Woo.
sure. I feel like one thing that people would always mention about Softening is that it's a great experience to meet a lot of new people. And
Hmm.
this idea of mentorship, that's like really interesting because not only did you describe it as a learning experience for them, but also a learning experience for you. So
Hmm.
would you um do you have any specific stories that you think you served as a really good mentor as a soft at Bayton?
I mean, yeah, not to get like into specifics, but like in whatever building you're softening at, you kind of set the culture, you deem what's acceptable and what isn't. And like coming from a first year experience where I've seen things that like I haven't been super happy with, having the opportunity to kind of say, hey, like I'm gonna try to be a bit of a better role model here so that we can, see the kind of experience in our residences that everyone wants, like that's a great opportunity, encouraging friendliness, encouraging people, not to be clicky, but to be open and willing to make new friends and willing to give everybody a chance. Because at the end of the day, if you give somebody a chance, you're likely going to end up really liking them. Everyone's like an individual and an interesting individual at that. And all it takes is just a little bit of digging to find that, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
for
of course.
sure. And actually, that reminds me too. Like I think a lot of students want to become softs, right? Like you ask
Mm-hmm.
any first year student in residence, I think there's a 50% chance they say they want to try being a soft next year, whether whether that's residence, faculty, charity. Um, but as you mentioned, a lot of people might also want to do it for the resume benefits, but not know, for example, what kind of like sacrifices might need to be made. Because as you mentioned, it's something that you should be really passionate about, right? And so for me as a residence don at Saugeen and also at Medsid last year, I definitely remember seeing that softs had it really tough during O week. Like you guys have crazy hours. You get all call at like what, 2 a.m. You're back here at like 8 a.m. Are there like, in addition to that, are there any sort of sacrifices that you think people should be aware of when they're applying to be a soft?
Well, I think there's two ways you can think about it. You know, a lot of people look at something like a 2 a.m. all call and say like that's a sacrifice, like you're sacrificing your time and energy. But honestly, if you're really passionate about it, there's nowhere else you'd rather be in that moment. Like you have a lot of fun, you don't want to leave. And even when you're getting tired, you're still like enjoying yourself. You just don't want it to end. I mean, a week's only 1 week. And you know, despite like the long hours, it still feels like we don't get enough and we want more. And that's obviously why people come back. So a lot of these sacrifices that people do have to make only feel like sacrifices when you're in it for like a resume spot, not necessarily for like the right reasons, and like reasons such as like actually being passionate about it. So if you're passionate about it, yeah, you know, there's some time commitments. You're gonna have to miss some stuff. You're gonna have to try to prioritize things in life a little bit more, um, with a little bit more scrutiny than you might have before. But if you're passionate about it, at the end of the day, it won't feel like a sacrifice. It'll just feel like fun.
Yeah, I have to agree with that too. Um, because I mean, similarly, I've also seen people who have done this job for the right reasons, and also some who, you know, for example, might have been motivated more by the resume part. And so for me, I can kind of share a perspective because when I get woken up at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. for like a duty call, obviously I'm not happy to be woken up for it. But if there is going to be a call, I hope that I'm the one to get it. Like I enjoy being out there doing these things, you know, contributing to the residence environment. And so for me, I definitely, personally, I can really see where you come from, deriving energy from the act, even if at that point you might be low energy. Like, yeah, no, I get that totally. And so I
Yeah,
guess, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it's a big sacrifice, but when it's something you love, you know, seeing somebody else getting to make that sacrifice over you, you know, like you won't be happy in that moment. I promise you that. Like yeah, it sucks to wake up at 3 a.m., but then when you hear that somebody else like had the opportunity to do that instead of you, that's when it's like really gonna sting, right?
Yo, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
like
sorry, go ahead, Greg.
oh yeah, so like in agreement with your point about how like passion it really transcends that like idea of like a commitment, time commitments. Um, I really wanted to like branch off and like also recognize that it also feels very fulfilling because you have such a big impact on the lives of first year students. So I was just like wondering how exactly do you think you are able to like have this positive impact on first year students, whether it's through like mentorship or other opportunities? What do you think is really fulfilling and allows you to be passionate about your job?
Yeah, so my like particular approach when it comes to trying to impact first years is not necessarily a little unorthodox, but it might not be like the most intuitive thing. I view it much more as a friendship rather than like a mentor, like mentee relationship. I don't really believe in that. I don't think that I think all a lot of the time what we call mentors are really just people who we're just kind of looking to learn a thing or two from. But I think like the people who have the biggest influences in our lives are our friends. I mean, think back to like any friend group you've ever had. They probably changed the way you talk, they changed the way you act, they changed what you do, right? So to me, it was really important to go in there and just make some friends. And because I knew that like I wanted to really be like a good role model. So as long as I was able to make friends and connect with my first years, they would kind of they would be influenced on their own. I didn't really have to do anything as long as I continued to be a good role model. So to me, it was really important to focus on just being a friend, being there for them, and just connecting with them on like a genuine level, and not really like a oh this is my job kind of level.
I agree with that one too. That's first of all, that's a great answer. I think they really should use you for some promotional materials for Soph applications.
Yeah, of course. I agree with
Um,
that.
no, I mean seriously, but yeah, I mean I would definitely agree with that as well. Because I mean the students we like in my case especially because we're literally paid to you know we are paid to live with them. It's easy to approach it from the perspective of, you know, I have to take care of you guys because it's my job. I have to run events because it's my job. I have to run floor meetings because it's my job. But this year, I kind of started picking up on the amount of the benefit that like a really strong friendship could have. And so I really tried to approach this year from the perspective of being an upper year friend, not just someone, um, you know, doing this job because I really love it, um, not just because I'm paid for it. And it's not like that was my approach before, but I just really wanted to make it clear to my students this year that I really cared about them, to put that really upfront. And I think it's been achieving really positive results. Um, and they also look out
Yeah.
for me too when they tell me to stop, staying up until 5 to get my assignments done.
Yeah, those are that's what I live for, at least. Like I to me, like one of the most important things are human connection. Like that's, at the end of the day, everything we do, all roads kind of lead back to that like human connection and that human experience. I think that like some of the biggest impacts I've had like in sophing haven't even been with people who like would be considered my frosh, because you have to be willing to be friends with not just the people you have to be friends with and not just the people you have to connect with, but anybody who needs it, because you never know, you might be the right person who can say the right thing to somebody on the right day that'll influence their life for years to come. So it's a position that comes with a lot of responsibility, but that responsibility also gives you the opportunity to make a lot of change for good.
100%. I really agree with that as well. I mean, I've spoken a lot about my memories as a Don. Can you share a particularly memorable experience you've had while serving as a resident Soph?
Yeah, I think like some of the most memorable things is just like hanging out with my frosh in their rooms, just kind of talking, like really learning about like what they've been up to, like what kind of things that they want to achieve this year, what kind of goals they have in the future, and just learning about them and really getting to see them in their in their environment, being happy, enjoying themselves and making friends. With the second, like whenever first years initially come in, there's always this like air of nervousness, I
Oh
guess, that
yeah.
you see.
Yeah.
And everyone's worried if they're gonna make friends, if they're gonna enjoy it. And you can definitely see that, right? And
Yep.
so like seeing them on that first day and then seeing them at the end of a week all getting along, being really happy together and like making those connections and having like a really good residence experience. It's the best feeling ever. It's my favorite memory, at least, is like just seeing them all like kind of start to finally get comfortable and get into their element.
I would have to
Yeah.
agree. I would have to agree with that one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're talking about, in regards to like the human connection, making friends, being able to like interact with other people. And for me too, like I think so many of my best memories are like not going to like class. Let's say I phrased that badly. It's like going to class with my friends instead of just going to class. That came out like a lot different than what I was trying to attend. Like yeah, like spending time with your friends, even if it's like going to like class or something, or just like even like eating and hanging out, or just like talking to them. Those have been like the most, I guess, like memorable experiences of my university life. And in regards to that level of social interaction, I also hear that you play water polo. And this isn't like a common sport. So I just wanted to transition and ask you what drew you to water polo and how long have you been playing?
Water polo is probably one of the silliest but funnest sports I've ever played in my life. So I play intertube water polo, which means I'm not one of those jack guys that can swim for like 30 minutes without stopping. So I sit in a little tube, like kind of splash my way around the water. It's a lot sillier than like actual water polo, but it is also really fun. Like we're on a bit of a quest here for purple shirts. So we've got this like dream team of a soft team playing this semester. We're hoping to beat the fallopian tubes. There are bitter rivals. We hate them. No, I'm kidding. They're good. They're all right. They're pretty good, but they've been winning a lot, and I think it's time that the soft team takes it. But yeah, it's a really fun sport, but in all honesty, it's like the sport itself is nothing special. I think if anybody out there who's listening is like looking for that sport that's gonna be like really fun and give them a fun experience, like I hate to break it to you, but unless you're a varsity athlete, it doesn't really matter what you play. I'd say it's about who you're playing it with. Like we get back to this idea of human connection. The only reason I have as much fun as I do is because I'm on a team of like my absolute favorite people like at this school, and like being around those people, having fun, splashing around in the water. That's what I remember, not necessarily like me scoring that one goal like 3 weeks ago, right? So, yeah, in life generally, like this goes past sports. I honestly believe that it's not about like what you do, but it's about who you're doing it with. So, yeah.
100%. Have you come across the Saugeen team yet?
Oh, yes. Okay. So we were in different leagues, but for the record, we made it further than them. They got knocked out in the first round of playoffs. We got knocked out in the second round. Let's go, baby. Yeah. We actually merged this. Well, not with the Sog. Yeah, yeah. I think we merged with one of the other soft teams. So I think there's a Saugeen team, and then there were two soft teams that merged for this semester. So yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that then.
Yeah.
And another sport that Dons and Softs play together is also dodgeball.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a bit of a tournament lately. Some deniers say that Soggy won it, but I don't know. All the
Oh,
promotional material,
deniers.
all the promotional material I saw and all the Instagram stories I saw said Bayton won it. So I don't know. Like
Oh, I see. I see.
I don't know who these people saying that we got like knocked out in the first round are, but
They're revisionists.
yeah,
They're revisionists. They're
yeah,
trying
the
to hide the
revision.
truth.
100%. Nah, but like in all seriousness, like it was super fun, getting to like interact with all these people from other residences.
Yep.
And that like that kind of leads into like flag football. That's something else you do as a soft and as a first year in res, which I think is like dodgeball and then kick it up a notch. Like it's gonna be on a whole other level. Like it's gonna be really fun. I'm super excited for it this year.
Yeah, I've signed up for that league as well, so maybe I'll see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that back to the point about what you said earlier, about establishing like real friendships with your students. I think that sports in residence are actually a really great way to do that. Like my floor plays dodgeball very frequently, and I think that was a really big factor in me showing my passion to my students and them participating as well and getting to know me better and really breaking down those barriers around us.
Yeah, yeah. There's I think there's two things that kind of make sports a really good outlet for like building friendships and building like real friendships. I think the first thing is the vulnerability that comes with sports. A lot of the time you have to be willing to show and even sometimes tell people your weaknesses so that they can help you and they can cover you.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're gonna lose, right?
Yep.
So it gives you a chance to be vulnerable with nothing on the line, no stakes or anything. Like it's just a fun game, right? Um, the second thing I think is that like teamwork that any team sport has. It's very easy to trust somebody. It's very easy to open yourself up to somebody when you've seen that they've had your back in the past. And with any sport, right? Like if they're always there for you for a pass, or if let's say in dodgeball you get hit and then they catch it before it hits the ground, like that might not seem like a lot, you know what I mean? But like in that moment, they're your hero. You know what I mean? There's somebody you could count on, and like for a second, they were somebody who had your back. And when you can show somebody that you are willing to be there for them, at least in a really really small like sense with sports,
Yep.
that's gonna get their mind going that okay, maybe if they can do that for me there, maybe they can do it for me here, and it slowly builds and builds, and that's how you build trust, right?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah,
You
so
should
like
also
I
consider
definitely feel like
sorry, go ahead, Greg.
oh yeah, so like I definitely feel like when you're like on that like court together, you're on that field together, you have like a common enemy taking down like your opponent in that like dodgeball field. So
Oh
like
yeah,
that
no, I've
definitely is
been
a really
using
good
that. I use that a lot. That's been one of the ways that I bind my floor together is, we are us and everybody on the opposite side of that court is them.
Yeah, I mean that's authoritarian 101, right? That's how they got like everybody be so tight knit. So the us versus them always works out.
Yep.
As long as we don't take it too seriously, of course. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's
it can get heated sometimes. It can get heated sometimes.
yeah, but just you wait till flag football, man. That's all I'm saying.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I hope you guys are ready to go out in the first round. We're in the same league, buddy.
No, we're making it all the
Sheesh.
way to finals at least.
We got some big boys on our team. I don't think you're ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess as someone who has played, I guess, these many as someone who has played so many sports. I guess how would you say you balance individual performance and team dynamics in a sport like, for example, water polo?
Um, I am a big believer on control what you can, forget what you can't. So how I try to help my team the best is by playing my best game. And at the end of the day, if everyone each plays their best game and they make sure they're working together, that's how you win. That's how you win championships, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think that micromanaging others isn't always like the best path forward. A lot of people think that's what teamwork is just telling other people what to do, but at the end of the day, you lead by example. If you play a really good game, then that creates an opportunity for your team to play an even better game, right? So I would say I'm a big believer in focusing on your performance and trying to do the best you can so that you can support the people around you.
Makes
Yeah, that's
sense.
definitely like a philosophy that you're also able to like apply to life. Like, lead by example, focus on what you can change, don't focus on what you can't change. So yeah, like it definitely is something very good to define.
And just for context, the Saugeen team, we were practicing, I think, a long time before any other residence team was practicing. So,
Mm-hmm.
obviously we were kind of preparing early in that sense, but it was still pretty casual. Is it similar for you when it comes to the Bayton team and water polo, for example, or do you have some kind of different training schedule?
So I think a lot of that comes down to passion, right?
A hundred
No matter
percent, a
how
hundred percent.
talented you are, yeah. Like I feel like when it came to dodgeball, you had us beat on the passion side. I won't lie. Um, like I think in life a lot of the time, not just with sports, but if you're passionate about something, you'll always beat out somebody who isn't, even if they're more talented than you. Um, so it's like that practice, that constant practice. Yes, it probably made you better, but it's also like a chicken and the egg thing. Did you practice that much because you're passionate and that's why you won, or are you passionate because you practice so much, right? When it comes to
Yep.
like water polo, for example, like I know at least there's people on that team where I'll text them at 1:30 a.m. be like, oh my god, I had an amazing idea. We gotta do this next time we play. Like send them like a little MS Paint drawing about like the next strategy we're gonna use. So like I think that sort of team dynamic just comes down to passion, like how passionate you are about it.
Yep. I have to agree too.
Like in regards to like all these activities that you're doing, like flag football, water polo, even dodgeball, and being a soph while being like a full-time student, right? I was just wondering, how do you effectively manage your time between your academic responsibilities, water polo, and as being a red soph? Because it's not like any of these responsibilities are like a short time commitment. It's like a continuous and committed activity.
Yeah. I am a big believer in there being more than enough time in the day to do pretty much whatever you want. I also like I go to the gym. I try to go like 5 times a week. So it's like it's definitely not easy balancing all your responsibilities, but I think that the best way to do it is just by creating like a schedule. Because when you have a schedule, you're not wasting time. You're not scrolling on TikTok because you have stuff to do and you know that you have to get them done today. So yeah, just scheduling your time properly um, really makes you realize how much time you have in a day and how you can do whatever you want, right? Like some people don't want to commit all their time to that stuff, and they might want to focus that time that they get away from school on friends or on this on that whatever. That's fine. Allocate your time however you want to, but allocate it because it's better to have like a budget or like an allocation of time, even if you're just allocating it to just chill by yourself for a bit than to not have one, because at least you know where your time's going. It's a lot better to know, okay, this is what I'm doing with my time this week, rather than just trying to like fumble your way through and expect you to achieve your goals through like no measurement of what you're doing and how you're doing it, right? So just create a schedule. It'll,
Yeah.
it'll help. Google Calendar's free. Not too hard to use either.
Yeah, yeah. Like I started using Google Calendar this year actually, and it's so life-changing. I know like when all my assignments are, I get started early, and also like I have more time to like spend with my friends and everything. But something that I have realized this year is that for scheduling, I can't have like very specific like time frames. I need to like allocate some time for me to like procrastinate, some time for me to relax in between that schedule. Because in the end, I feel like I'm only human. I can't just like do work or like study um and then do like other things outside studying, like maybe like relaxing like the entire time. I need to find that balance. So that actually reminds me. I remember like the other day, I was talking to you and you started talking about Marcus Aurelius and meditations. Like, is there like any like correlation between the
Oh,
way
this
that
should
you
be interesting.
schedule and like what you read?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a modern day philosopher. What can I say? Well, yeah, okay. I'd say like I read a lot of those books because I think that anything that was working 2,000 years ago is probably tried and tested enough to be working today. So yeah, what I've learned is that um, I'll say this. There's a lot you can take away from like historians. There's a lot you can take away from like philosophers, like self-help people. That stuff's like great at all. You don't want to like fall down that rabbit hole though, just like watching self-help videos all day and then not actually helping yourself. Um, there's usually like it all boils down to a couple pieces of advice. Work hard, have a goal, and stick to it. I'll leave you with this. Don't do tomorrow what can be done today. Marcus Aurelius. There you go.
Oh,
Very inspirational.
you gotta throw in a
Yeah.
couple of Master Oogway quotes up there too. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
but I definitely understand like where you're coming from. I remember like for a period of time, I was like in that rabbit hole of like self-help videos. I'm like 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm watching a YouTube video, and I'm like, oh, tomorrow, like I actually read like Atomic Habits, right? I was like, tomorrow I'm setting up a system, I'm gonna do so much work, I'm gonna be so productive. And then the next day I got out of bed at like 1 p.m. I like and I spent like 1 hour in bed watching YouTube and then did none of the things I wanted to do. So like there definitely is like a difference between like getting a satisfaction by thinking you're gonna do something and actually getting the satisfaction by like putting your time and effort into doing what you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
me. I was up until 4 last night. I'm gonna get so much done today. I'm gonna wake up like 4 hours before the interview. I'm gonna get so much done. Then I'm gonna do the then I'm gonna go to the recording session. Nope, I got to do that after now.
Yeah, it's honestly one of those things where I feel like, especially nowadays, like we have so much information, like just readily available to us. Everyone knows what they need to do. Like just set a goal, work towards it, do what you need to do in the day, right? It's not super complicated. You don't need to buy like $30 to learn the secrets to life. Just go work hard, right? It's not the most glamorous thing, but it's what's gonna lead you to success.
Yeah, it's been what's working for 2,000 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, typical question, but where do you see yourself in the next few years? And how do the activities you're currently engaged in play a role in your future plans?
I I'm not a big I don't believe in like trying to plan out your future perfectly. I think you got to be flexible. You got to like know where you want to end up, but how you end up there, I think should just be up to, where you run and what you want to run into and whatever, right? Like
Right.
sophing is something that happened to me by accident. Because I missed the deadline to be a don, and I was like, well, what's the next best thing? Sophing, and it turned out to be something that like absolutely changed my life. It's like one of the things I'm most passionate about now. Um, so a lot of the time, like those those uh those little paths in life like are super unpredictable. You don't know what's happening, but in 5 or so years, whatever, love to see myself. I'd love to see myself doing something that I'm genuinely happy doing. Like money's great and all. Uh, obviously, like everyone always says, oh, money doesn't make you happy, but not having it, it,
Yeah.
it,
No,
it
for
kind of
sure.
sucks.
Yeah.
But money comes and goes. I think at the end of the day, I want to be doing something where I can say I'm proud of what I'm doing and I'm leaving behind something that's of value and kind of adding to the world rather than just taking away from it.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, on that note, I do think you would make a fantastic Don. I hope you apply this round.
Yeah. Yeah, nice try, buddy. I'm fine to be a sop. I'm fine to be a sop. Don't listen to this propaganda.
Darn, I almost had him. I almost converted him.
That's the pipeline. That's the pipeline. That's how they get you.
But honestly, yeah. Dawning also was something that happened to me by accident. Or at least kind of by accident. Like I did apply knowing what I was getting into, but I only applied like a week after I realized I wanted to do it. It just it wasn't initially on my radar. I also kind of just stumbled onto that opportunity. So I think there was a lot of merit in the idea of not stressing too much about what lies ahead. And that's also what I like to tell my students too. I think naturally the most stressed ones are usually going to be med science. And they're asking me, like, how do I get into med school? Do I need to have like, a paper published in first year already? That kind of thing. And I think in a lot of cases, I tell them that just the reality is that a lot of people think they want to go to med, but by the time that fourth year rolls around, that number is going to get cut by at least half, right? Explore what you like. As you mentioned, go for something that you're really passionate about and that you could see yourself really enjoying in the future. And that'll usually, I think, lead you to where you want to be. If that leads you back to med, that's fantastic. What you've done will go fantastically on your resume. And if it doesn't, then you've spared yourself the pain of, oh no, what do I do now?
Exactly. Yeah. To touch on that, I'd say like university is kind of the first chance you get to try something new without like the burdens of all the people around you and all their pressure and telling you what you're gonna be and what you're gonna do with your life. This is the first chance you get like to kind of step away, take a breath, and say, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? So I definitely recommend to like any first years listening, try as many new things as you possibly can. Even if you think, oh, this isn't for me, that's not on my life path, that's not where I'm going, try it, because like you don't want to wake up 20 years from now and say, oh, where's the time gone, what have I done, right? So don't be afraid to try new things, because you might fall in love with it.
Yeah,
100%. I
like
really have to agree with that.
everyone's being so like philosophical now, so like I figure I have to add my own tidbit of like philosophy. Like yeah, like pursue anything you want. Like like just make sure like when you're older you don't really want to have any regrets. See where life takes you. And like in the transition to something else, like I know you've already given like so many tidbits of philosophical advice. Well, what advice would you give to students who are looking to get involved in not only similar activities, but also in like living their life as university students?
Um, don't be afraid to create. A lot of the time, everybody just wants to like hop on to whatever's like going, whatever's successful. Don't be afraid to create something new. Don't be afraid to start something new. It especially like at Western, like at our university, there's so much opportunity to like create new stuff and to leave your mark. So a lot of the time, joining a club and being a general member for 3 years only to get like a director position at the fourth year isn't everyone's cup of tea, right? So make
Oh,
your own club
100%.
a lot of the time. Yeah. So it's just don't be afraid to create something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on another related note, so you mentioned that you were reading Meditations, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, personally speaking, I tried to actually get into reading Nietzsche. I bought a box set. I was going to read it over the summer. I walked two steps in and it was so thick, it was really difficult to get through. Would you recommend that someone, for
Mm.
example, start out with Meditations? Or is there something else that they should read to kind of either ease them into reading the kinds of books that you're reading or figure out whether or not it's for them?
Um, I would honestly say like when you're reading these kinds of books, if you enjoy them, you have fun with them, read. They're fun. They're fun books, right?
Right.
If you're reading them because you think they're gonna turn you into a whole different person, change your life, um, I hate to break it to you, they won't. I think that by far, like if you want to become a different person, you have to do different things. You have to go out there and experience things because every change I've ever made in my life has stemmed from an experience. So go out there and experience stuff. Stop reading books, or if you enjoy them, you can read them too. But I read for fun. So if a book's too dense for you, you're not having fun with it, don't read it. read something you enjoy. Or just don't read at all. Go outside, go for a run or something.
True. Or find a friend who's majoring in philosophy and get them to explain it to you.
There you go.
That's an easy way
Give them
out.
get the TLDR.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now that ice climbing sounds really sick. That's some blockbuster stuff.
Yeah.
I I boulder indoors.
Oh yeah.
It goes up like 5 feet. Yeah,
Are you in Western's Climbing Club?
calluses. Uh, like okay, I'm gonna keep it real. It's a little pricey here at Western. My gym at home is like $10 a month.
Right. Okay.
But I work out. That's probably like the hobby that takes up like the most of my time. I find it really therapeutic and I really enjoy it. I like having abs too. It's kind of fun. I let's see. I used to like run a lot cross country. But I don't do that anymore. But every now and then I'm like, yo, today I'm gonna run a 12K and we just do that, but I don't run super actively anymore. Um, and I've really gotten into like mixed martial arts recently. Like hoping to take some like classes and stuff like this upcoming summer. But yeah, that's like most of my hobbies are pretty like physically based. Have enough like mental stuff to do with school where like I just sometimes want to like turn off my brain and just do stuff with my body.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Is mixed martial arts your secret weapon for flag football?
wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Yeah. If
You'll
because
find
if it is, I got to start taking classes, you know?
you'll find out on the field.
Right, right. I'll find out on the field. Yeah.
Oh, I have
Um,
one more hobby.
yep.
I'm really good at losing money on the stock market. Like like that. Super quick with it. So
I'm not sure if it's too personal, but I guess what have you lost money on so far then?
uh, let me tell you, energy, like buying into energy. I thought hydrogen energy was gonna be the next best thing. Then Elon Musk had to come out and be like, it's terrible, and then everyone like fucking sold their stock, and now I'm just sitting here crying, holding on to my stock, praying it'll go back up.
I hope though. I really hope that like stuff like hydrogen energy takes off.
It's water. Like I don't like I looked at that and I was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Let's run our cars on water. Like that seems a little bit better for the environment, but apparently Elon Musk knows better. So yeah, I'm definitely not salty or anything.
No, because I remember like Elvy would show me screenshots, right? And he showed me screenshot every time it went up. And then like a few days later, I'll look and then I'll ask him again, and then it's just like going down and down. And I'm like, okay, stop taking screenshots.
Yeah, there's a lesson that I learned on Reddit. If it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to sell. And I tell myself that every single time I screenshot something, I never sell. So
Hey, but if it
one of
goes
these
back
days
up,
it'll pay off though.
yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
if
There
it
we
goes
go.
back up,
And one of these
there's your
days.
student loans.
Yeah. I just don't want to end up being that guy that like sold his Bitcoin at like $3 and then like was like, yeah, gotta sell. You never know what happens. I'd rather lose like all of my money than lose out on like that like 1,000, 10,000 X like percent. Like I can't do it. I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah. It could be even worse. At least like if you sold Bitcoin like at $3, at least you sold it. Don't forget there are like people who have like millions of dollars of worth of Bitcoin now, like on wallets that have been like thrown away, on computers that are like currently like
Yeah.
like 20 feet deep in like landfills, and
Oh.
they're trying to dig it back out. They're trying to figure out where it is.
I saw this like a while back. I remember reading about this guy who lost his hard drive with like $300 million worth of like Bitcoin. And
Yeah,
he like
yeah.
spent it. He's been spending his like whole life mission has been trying to find it, and then some other guy found it before him
Oh
and
no.
started
So sad.
flexing it online. And so there ended up being like a whole lawsuit. Turns out the guy just like made it up and was just messing with this dude, but. Man, that's a bad way to go. Like
That
I
is.
I couldn't first.
Wait,
I
but that
need
means
therapy.
that means the hard drive could still be out there somewhere.
Hey, man,
It's
that's
time to start
a
looking.
modern day treasure hunt. There you go.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I gotta find a shovel. Start digging behind Saugeen. You think I'll get you? Do you think I'll get fired for that? I wonder.
I mean, I'm sure if you don't hit any pipes, you'll be good.
If I don't hit any pipes.
It's okay.
um, I guess maybe for any dons that I rope into watching this to inflate the view count, are there any ideas for
Nice.
yeah. Are there any ideas for engaging your floor that you've maybe seen and employed or hope to apply next year that you think would be really effective or just novel even?
Um, this isn't necessarily super novel. It's pretty straightforward, but don't just use your floor meetings as a time to regurgitate information because that's when people stop showing up.
Yep.
Find ways to give them that information in a way where it feels like, oh, I just happened to give you that information. That wasn't the point of this meeting.
Yep. I actually tried that this year. Every single floor meeting we have like a PowerPoint night where we just pick a silly topic and they can make like a 1 minute slides presentation and compete for prizes. And also with regards to the to regurgitating information, you are completely correct. That is exactly how I lost attendance last year. So this year I tried Cahoots and that's been working a lot better as well.
Yeah, that's a really creative way to do it, like gamification of like
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
the stuff we like actually have to get done. That's really clever. I like I try like I think it's just important to remember that these are like people too. They have lives, and nobody wants to like spend their like evening, listening to something that could have been sent out in an email.
Right.
If it's not interesting and they have no reason to show up, right? So just remembering that fact kind of leads you a long way, and will definitely help like boost like floor engagement and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah. I think that's
Yeah,
a
I feel like
trap that a lot of new staff fall into, including myself last year, which is adhering, I guess, too strictly to the guidebook, for example, right? Sticking too closely to the
Mhm.
curriculum, to the lesson plan, when you can really just twist and bend it all sorts of interesting ways to try to entertain your students. Because as you mentioned, you do have to make it worth their time. A lot of the time, your floor meetings are going to be landing, at 8 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m., which is like prime social time for them because they've come back from classes, they're done eating, they really want to go out and have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's there are tons of ways to approach it to where you're respectful to their time, and you give them something actually fun to do. Um, I haven't personally experimented with this yet, but also like just handing out the document beforehand with all the important information, and maybe
Oh,
having a reason to get them out, and then if they have any questions about it, we could talk to them while they're still out there, right? Stuff like that. Like just finding ways to make the process as like friendly and easy for them as possible. I used to do sales. Like a big thing in sales is making it as easy as possible for somebody to buy something. You don't want
oh,
any like any like point of resistance is gonna like lose people like that. Like even if they really want it. I don't know if you've ever like tried to buy something online, for example. If you like enter in your credit card and the website glitches and stops
oh
working, you're
yeah,
like, okay,
exactly,
well, I
yeah,
don't want
yeah,
it anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. So just making it like creating as little resistance as possible for them to show up.
yep. That's definitely a
Great
principle that we
attitude.
had to apply this year with staff feedback, because who wants to fill out a survey for their for their staff, right? So
Yeah.
we as you mentioned, remove all the points of resistance. We put it right in front of them. This is your ticket to leave. Put the QR code up on the
Uh,
screen.
yeah, no, stuff like that. Like that's how you're gonna be able to make a difference too, right? Is like getting this sort of stuff done. It's not like we're trying to rope them into doing anything bad, right?
Right,
Like
right,
this stuff
yeah.
is good for them, it's good for the building. So that's how you I guess justify like making it as easy as possible for them because it is in their best interest, right?
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all the questions we have for you today. You've been an amazing guest, Elvy. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. I had a lot of fun. Like, thank you guys so much. I like it was super prepared. Love the questions, and it was honestly great talking to you guys.
It was great having you on too. Maybe we should have
yeah,
you
that's
on for
great.
like a sequel episode at some point.
I like that, like a little 1 year anniversary.
Oh yeah, yeah, Greg, you can do that next year.
Yeah, of course, of course. I'll let you
Yeah.
next year.
All right.
Yeah,
I guess we'll let you get to those quizzes and
bye, Elvy.
have a great weekend, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
For more content, you can follow Humans of Western on Instagram at humans_Western and at Humans of Western on TikTok and YouTube. We've been William and Gregory. Thank you for listening and have a great day.